Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel, Coffee, Cards, and Clarity. I'm going to do a general reading right now for the sign of Gemini. So this will be for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Venus, or Rising. Ultimately, it will be for anyone that it ends up resonating with, whatever sign, regardless whatever sign they are. If none of this resonates, please just leave it all here and check out any of the other readings on my channel. It doesn't matter what zodiac sign is attached. If the title calls to you, there may be something in there for you. And if nothing resonates, just check back next week. So this is for, with my intention, this is for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Venus, or Rising, please. 2 more shuffles for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Venus, or Rising. 1 more shuffle, please, for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Venus, or Rising. Okay. What do we need to know for Gemini this week? What's going on with Gemini? Give us some energy for Gemini, please. What's going on with Gemini? What's going on with Gemini? I can see a bird off to my left here, but it's not in the view of the camera, so you guys can't see it. Oops. Okay. I have. Okay. Oh, Gemini. What else wants to come through for Gemini? What's going on with Gemini? So far we have the Ten of Swords, the Judgment card, Knight of Cups, the Star card, Ace of Swords. What else wants to come through for Gemini? What else wants to come through for Gemini? Okay. What else wants to come through for Gemini? For Gemini, Sun, Moon, Venus, or Rising. What else wants to come through for Gemini? Okay, we have that one on my lap. So Gemini, what's coming through for you is you're entering this reading with the energy of the Ten of Swords. This can be a rock bottom energy. It's a painful ending. But it is also can be a card of Gemini making a final decision. So I see that Gemini has decided. The energy that's coming through may not resonate for everybody, but the energy that's coming through is Gemini has decided to cease communication with someone, and that someone someone I do believe is their divine soul counterpart. The reason I say that is because in the past placement for Gemini is the Judgment card. This is Archangel Gabriel coming through. Gemini heard that calling in the past. I think that they had focused a lot upon that person. So what's ending, not only is a lot of the communication ending, it's going to be able to, this is in order for Gemini to not be in so much pain. So they're not cutting the cords, but they're kind of stopping that feeling that they had of needing the immediacy, or needing that person in their lives in a constant manner. So that seems to be what they've put a halt on. The Knight of Cups is showing me that the reason Gemini did this is because it wasn't feeling very mutual, or like that it was very healthy for neither Gemini nor their counterpart. So it was kind of like for a loving gesture is what I'm seeing, is that Gemini did that, more of a loving gesture. So the cords aren't cut. It's not being mutual back and forth right now. It's not being mutual right now back and forth. So to end some of this pain, what I see Gemini doing is just kind of ending the communication, or ending the immediacy of the feeling of needing immediacy in this connection. Because of this Star card that's coming in the future for them, this is an energy of illuminating a path for them. One of the blocks for Gemini Oh, there's a little bird walking on the ground right in front of me. One of the blocks for Gemini was this Ace of Swords energy. You know, an energy of having an awakening, which I already saw Gemini had because they had already heard Archangel Gabriel in their past with their calling. But the Ace of Swords, the block was an energy of needing to have their awakening, okay? Or also alternatively right now, because of Gemini actually kind of having a Ten of Swords and kind of wanting to release and let go of their counterpart for now. So there's no 3D expectations. What I see coming through is that, you know, that mental clarity that came through for Gemini on all the pain that it was causing. Okay. That's what came through for that. There could be at some point also a new beginning of some way to communicate. For the energy of influencing Gemini's decision to go ahead and make this break, let's call it. Oh my gosh, I just heard Ross from Friends. We were on a break. Okay. So from what's coming through for what's influencing Gemini to make that decision, to make a final decision that was painful for both Gemini and their person because it was a soul mission calling, was the Knight of Wands. And that was because it felt like since they were not able to be in a relationship because it wasn't mutual, that it felt just more lusty. So that was kind of what's influencing. Gemini didn't really want to be like the one that their counterpart turned to for, you know, lusty endeavors. They wanted to be the one that they had turned to for the love, okay, or the, you know, the soul connection. What's coming through for hopes or fears is I see it's Gemini's hope that at some point this does come back around, that they have the patience for this to come back around. I do see also the hope of moderation. And so what's coming through with that was for Gemini, something with this Ten of Swords rock bottom moment could have had something to do with addiction. That could be for Gemini or Gemini's person. But in part of their hope is not only having the patience to kind of wait this out, because it's coming through as a long journey, not only to have the patience to wait this out, but that also either Gemini or their person would be moderating any behavior that was numbing. Maybe Gemini, because of hearing the calling, maybe that's why it's also painful, and that Gemini or their person was numbing. For the outcome placement for Gemini, I do see the Page of Pentacles, which is a positive time for growth, okay? But I also see the Five of Cups. So it's like bittersweet. You know, maybe Gemini, maybe they've waited a long time and their person didn't show up and they're still waiting. And so they do see some progress, but it's still not where they want it. So maybe that's where the sadness, loss, or grief is. But also what I really see here is with this bittersweet ending, it was causing so much pain and grief for Gemini and their counterpart that I see Gemini made that decision to end kind of communication with their counterpart, or to end the immediacy, the feeling of needing immediacy connection with their person. They do see positive growth coming from either of themselves, Gemini, or Gemini's person, in the ability to moderate the behavior that needed to be moderated, that possibly led to a Ten of Swords, okay? But I do see that ultimately, because this is a bittersweet kind of stopping of communication, I do see ultimately that it's left Gemini and their person feeling sad and loss and grief. But I do see that Gemini is trying to do that for actually the best for both parties, for both counterparts, not to hurt them. It's just it hurts. Let's get some clarification for Gemini. So for Gemini, we have that they have made a final decision, and their final decision hurts not only them, but their divine counterpart. In the past, Gemini has heard the call from Archangel Gabriel. They were called to soul mission, and this soul mission did involve a divine counterpart. But the feelings in the present are not feeling mutual, or there's no way to come together romantically. So Gemini has decided, for the best of everybody, to make a final decision and no longer kind of have that need for immediacy for connection with their counterpart. I do see that this path came to Gemini when they realized the pain that was being caused not only themselves but their divine counterpart. So when that clarity came to them with this Ace of Swords, that's when they made the decision. Gemini wanted when they came together to be romantic and loving and mutual. And what was influencing them was this Knight of Wands energy. It's showing that sometimes their divine counterpart came to them more in a lusty manner, as opposed to a soul contract, soul mission, loving manner, which is, if there's, not equal awakening, then that could sometimes be the case. So in the Gemini's hopes or fears, we have the Temperance card, which I see that as being Gemini wanting to have the patience to continue at some point to come together with their counterpart. But also, if there is any addictive behavior or any obsessive or any type of behavior that needed to be moderated, that was happening with that Ten of Swords on either part, Gemini or their counterpart. I do see, for an outcome placement, the Page of Pentacles and the Five of Cups. I do see that Gemini sees that they're making progress, either Gemini or their person, whoever possibly was needing to moderate or having a Ten of Swords moment. I see that they're making progress and kind of overcoming that positive growth, time of growth. But I do see that this was a bittersweet ending for Gemini. It feels like loss and sadness and grief. This not cutting the cords, but stopping the communication, or stopping the feeling of needing kind of some sort of immediacy with their divine counterpart while in separation. So basically what I'm seeing is Gemini is letting go of any expectation, letting go of concentrating on a future with that counterpart. That's what's being let go. So it's feeling a little bit bittersweet for Gemini. A little bittersweet for Gemini. So let's see what else wants to come through to clarify this reading for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Venus, or Rising. With all of the rain and the storms that came through last night, the birds are just going crazy in front of me, I guess eating worms. We have these cards kind of flipped up. And we have the Seven of Cups, King of Swords, Six of Swords, and the Chariot. Okay. So what I'm seeing to clarify for Gemini is they really didn't want to make this decision. They know that both Gemini and their person have choices in life, and Gemini didn't really want to make this decision, but they ended up having to ultimately make that final decision. They did step into their King of Swords energy, which is being very clear and concise, and having mental clarity on something, and being able to be loving but distant. Okay, I do see, like I said, Gemini's moving to a more balanced and harmonious energy, because it was too conflicting, it was too painful for Gemini and their person to be in separation and kind of already awakened. So that was pretty painful. Another card to come through for clarification is Major Arcana, the Chariot, which is an energy of conflicting energies or conflicting forces. But Gemini is in the driver's seat, and Gemini will be able to move towards an energy that is not so painful. But right now, Gemini is feeling sadness and loss and grief and regret for this connection, kind of taking it's already in separation, but I guess a bigger pause, a bigger break. What I'm getting is that it's basically coming down to the mindset. It's coming down to the mindset for Gemini. They need to get out of the mindset of, okay, I'm awakened and I know who this person is to me, but something is going on, and we have no indication, actually. Something is going on other than a possible addiction. Something is going on in this person's life, or Gemini's life, that's preventing that. And if it's being prevented, I'm going to need to step away from that energy for a little bit, because it's so painful to know about having a counterpart and not be able to be with them. So I see Gemini stepping away from the divine soul connection energy for now. I do see that they do want to have patience, that it will happen at some point. They still want to have that patience. But I see Gemini stepping away for the benefit of themselves emotionally and their divine counterpart as well. I do see that their divine counterpart has made progress, though. And Gemini's also made progress in being able to even do this. Like I said, they're not cutting the cords, but we are seeing progress for both Gemini and their counterpart. Let's get some transformation messages, please. This is from Angelic Revelation 144, and it's a divine transformation, the rebirth deck for navigating challenges and life changes. Okay, let's get a few transformation cards for Gemini, please. Thank you. We have union. It is time to fly home to your one true love. You both need to work together to bring about this sacred union. That may be a message from Spirit coming through to tell Gemini, don't turn your back so quick. Passions. Who invites your passions? It is time to do sacral chakra work. So that's interesting. I felt that the energy that Gemini was wanting to do the greatest good for all. And I do still see that, but this may be a message from Spirit coming through to Gemini to not close off that communication. Don't end the communication with their divine counterpart. Especially if that's the person who ignites their passions. So from Spirit, that could be saying, do some sacral chakra work. Don't just cut communication. That could be more painful. That could be more painful than separation. You can still stay in integrity and communicate. That's what's wanting to come through to me. As long as it's in integrity. With no lusty behavior attached. So for Gemini, the cards that came through for Gemini. I honor, appreciate, and cherish my life. I see the beauty of all my experiences as opportunities for growth. And we have that with the Page of Pentacles, the time of growth. Life force runs through all the elements of the earth. I choose to live carefully and consciously. My life is built on a firm divine foundation. Any foundation that were not built on divine solid ground will fall away for my highest and greatest good. So when we had the card here about union, and it was talking about it's time to fly home to your one true love and needing to work together to bring about this sacred union, this other card that's coming through, it's saying that anything not built on divine foundation will fall away. Okay. So what I'm seeing from these cards is that this is of a divine connection, because we have the Judgment card, and you've heard, at least Gemini has heard some of the calling, at least, if not all of the calling, and they've either started their awakening or they're having their awakening. So for these cards to come through, this seems like a pretty big message from Spirit saying, you can't just cut the contract, or you can't cut the person completely out of your life because it's built on this divine foundation. I have an enthusiasm for love and life. My vibration is high and contagious, making me magnetic to my divine partner. Okay, so these were the messages for Gemini. I hope something in here resonated for you, and I hope you were able to take a message away. If not, check any of my other readings. It doesn't matter what zodiac sign is attached. If the title is calling to you, there may be something in there for you. Take care.